Alright, you've seen the benchmarks, now it's time for the gameplay. I decided to give this computer the absolute best possible chance, so everything started off at 800 by 600 on the lowest possible settings. I noticed that Dirt 3 was really laggy in the menus, but surprisingly the game itself ran pretty much flawlessly. I could not find a full screen option though, which kind of sucked, but hey, it happens sometimes. So I figured it was running pretty good. It's time to bump up the resolution a little bit. I decided to try things at 1024 by 768 and see how it ran. And the good news is it ran pretty good, as you'll see here in a second. I would like to make a small comment here about the game that the mouse does not actually seem to do anything in the menus, which makes it a little harder to control. It's definitely not intuitive. Since we did so good at 1024 by 768, I figured we would bump it up to the monitor's full resolution of 1280 by 1024, and we might as well bump up the quality a little bit to see how things fared. Things were going so well that I decided to bump things up to medium settings to see what it was truly capable of. Unfortunately, this is where the computer began to struggle. It was not unplayable, and at most times hovered around 25 to 30 FPS, which, for a computer that is essentially completely free, made out of parts from the garbage, I'd say is pretty well done. Bravo. Seeing as how it did so well with Dirt 3, which happens to be a game that came out in 2011, 5 years ago, I decided to test it with something a little more recent, Dark Souls 3. Unfortunately, this took so long to load, and at one point I thought it had actually crashed, that I cut the video just to save time. For your information, it took a full 2.5 minutes from clicking play game to get to the start screen. Now, for those of you who don't know, Dark Souls 3 came out this year. In fact, it's one of the most recent games that I own. And after creating a quick character, just named Test, well, I'll let you be the judge. Just go ahead and watch. I would like to remind you that this game is running at the minimum resolution of 800 by 600 and the bare minimum quality settings. We were definitely seeing frames per second in the single digits, if not the lower single digits, which rendered this game completely unplayable. I honestly thought that it would do a little bit better than this, but seeing as how the frames per second was so low that the game itself kicked me out to the main menu, we're just going to have to give up on newer titles. I decided that it would be interesting to see the difference between titles from one generation to the next. So here we have Dark Souls 2, which came out in 2014, just 2 years before Dark Souls 3. Now here we see a vast improvement. Now this is not actually the lowest resolution offered by the game. The lowest resolution offered by the game is 640 by 480. But to keep things consistent, I changed it to 800 by 600 and set it to the lowest possible settings. Now here we saw a buttery smooth 45 to 60 FPS average. and it was very playable, except for the fact that I was using a mouse and keyboard. If I had installed the Xbox 360 controller drivers, it would have been much easier to play. The Dark Souls franchise is not exactly known for being easy to play in a keyboard and mouse. Just as a perfect example, you saw me smacking away at that door there trying to figure out how to get through. It told me to press the A button, but, well, that corresponds to an Xbox 360 controller, not to a mouse and keyboard. But on that note, I think we've found our answer. This machine is perfectly capable of playing games from about 5 years ago, as well as some newer titles. And there you have it. A computer made completely out of trash is fully capable of playing games. Maybe not playing them well, but hey, I achieved what I set out to do. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.